Do you know that the Indian civilization could be 80,000 years old? No, it's not 5,000 or 6,000 years old, as we knew for centuries. The stunning truth was uncovered, literally dug up about 3 years ago. Strangely, most Indians don't know about it. No one talks about it. Why? Let's dig deep into the story. Thank you for tuning in. This is Nadeem. You're watching Empire Diaries. In February 2020, the world was busy watching news about the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan. It was a season of fear. The virus was the only thing on people's mind. Naturally, most people didn't notice what a team of archaeologists found in a forested corner of Madhya Pradesh. They found ancient stone tools buried under layers of sediment. Those artifacts turned out to be 65,000 to 80,000 years old. The scientists carefully studied the stone tools and they found something that completely changed what we knew about our origins. The discovery proved that human beings have been continuously living in the central Indian region for 80,000 years. So, if they used stone tools at that time and settled down in the region, it means they probably had a civilization, and that would be far older than the Indus Valley civilization. We know that human settlement in the Indus Valley began around 5,300 years ago. The precise location where the discovery was made is called Dhaba. The place is not thickly populated. Dhaba lies on the Son River Valley of Madhya Pradesh. That area lies to the east of the well known Narmada River Valley. The human made artifacts were found at three excavation spots in Dhaba, as these images show. The discovered stone items spanned 55,000 years, from 80,000 years ago to 25,000 years ago. A general archaeological hunt has been going on in the Son River Valley since 2007. Finally, the breakthrough happened 3 years back. The big discovery was announced in an article published in the science journal Nature Communications on 25th February 2020. The team that cracked the case included 16 archaeologists. Five of them are Indian: Jagannath Pal, Gino Koshi, MC Gupta, DP Mishra, and AK Dubey. Pal, Gupta, and Mishra work at the University of Allahabad. Koshi is with the University of Madras, and Dubey is attached with Banaras Hindu University. The other scientists are from Australia, Britain, and the US. Here's what the report in the Nature Journal says. The Dhaba localities provide evidence of long term human occupation spanning the last 80,000 years. Occupation spans the Toba eruption, which happened 74,000 years ago in Sumatra, Indonesia. The lithic industry from Dhaba strongly resembles Middle Stone Age stone tool assemblages from Africa, Arabia, and Australia, interpreted here as the product of Homo sapiens as they dispersed eastward out of Africa. The game changing discovery came in three steps. First, excavations in Dhaba led to the discovery of the stone tools. Next, they were taken to the archaeology department of the University of Allahabad. Over there, the tools were minutely studied for clues about the past. After that, they were taken to the University of Wollongong in Australia. An advanced scientific process called IRSL dating was carried out over there. The technique revealed the approximate age of the artifacts. That was the moment when the world of archaeology got to know that the Indian civilization is way older than what we knew. Now, there are two things here that should strike you as odd. One, there has been very little coverage in the mainstream media about this development. A few popular media outlets covered the announcement, but only as routine news, not as a big discovery, not with huge headlines. Therefore, no one talks about it, be it people in government, teachers, historians, archaeology departments, even school books, universities, writers, or social media commentators. So, the biggest discovery about the origin of Indian civilization almost never happened. The second thing that's odd about the episode is the way the announcement was twisted to take the attention away from the main discovery. If you check out the original article in Nature Communications, you will find that the headline doesn't say that the Indian civilization may have been 80,000 years old. Instead, the headline talks about people surviving a major volcanic eruption that happened in Sumatra in Indonesia about 74,000 years ago. The Nature article's headline says, Human occupation of northern India spans the Toba super eruption 74,000 years ago. As a result, dozens of websites and media outlets around the world reported the development with only the volcano angle in their headlines. Most of the news headlines you will find out there don't say that a discovery has found the Indian civilization could be 80,000 years old. The most important outcome is buried under the headlines. Sadly, this holds true even for Indian media outlets that covered the development. Most of them ran headlines talking about the volcanic eruption, not our civilization's age. So clearly, this gigantic scientific disclosure has been ignored for some reason. It is not surprising for the Indian mainstream media to miss the plot. They generally cover everything in a shallow way. They don't go deep into anything that is offered to them on a platter. So the Indian media outlets simply copied that angle, ignoring the bigger story. But why did the popular special interest organizations of the Western world also play down the discovery? They usually take a lot of pride in their so called meticulous coverage of important global events. They claim they go deep into every major global development. National Geographic, Science Magazine, Forbes, Smithsonian Magazine, Britannica, even Oxford, Cambridge, CNN, BBC, the New York Times. Well, all of them chose to report the discovery only from the narrow perspective of the volcanic eruption. None of them played up the bigger story that the Indian civilization is far older than what we knew. What is the reason behind this strange gap? Is it deliberate? Is it because the collective West is not comfortable with the new truth? A truth that shows Indians as a basic civilization are historically much taller than the Western civilizations than previously thought. Many Western so called scholars agree that the first signs of civilization in South Asia were there about 9,000 years ago. But it appears now that they are not comfortable with the actual truth that it was there 80,000 years ago, not 9,000 years ago. You see, the West loves to club the following civilizations together as a vague bunch for its own convenience. They are Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, ancient Bharat, ancient China, Caral soup in Peru, and Olmec in Mexico. The West is comfortable with this narrative because it doesn't place any civilization too far back in time. Now, some mainstream archaeologists in the West repeatedly push a theory that says ancient European civilization began about 57,000 years ago. They say it started when humans migrated from the Levant region in the eastern Mediterranean to mainland Europe. Some other scientists argue that those were only prehistoric cultures and not proper civilizations, such as Azilians, Vincas, and Minoans. Now you know the math. The collective West won't accept the truth that Indian civilization could be 80,000 years old. Why? Because it dwarfs the accepted belief that European civilization could be 57,000 years old. The powerful elite class of the Western world has this obsession about never losing the civilizational race. When uncivilized British invaders physically occupied South Asia for 200 years, they made it look like they were here to civilize the Indians. Similarly, if you follow what presidents and prime ministers of America, Britain, Canada, and France say today in their boring speeches, you will find a tone of snobbery and condescension. Sadly, the narrative about human civilization is controlled by the West. Hence, the discovery in Dhaba in Madhya Pradesh will remain largely untold all over the world. But while it is understandable that foreign forces will try to play down this episode, why are Indian authorities also playing the same game? What is stopping our own authorities from telling all Indians about this major discovery? Forget the Indian press. They just repeat the narrative that is manufactured by the Western media. But what about our own so called nationalists? What about our own educators, our own writers, historians, social media celebrities? What is really stopping them from sharing this powerful story among our citizens? Imagine that this same discovery is made somewhere in California or near Oxford or say somewhere in France. For sure, the West will turn it into a media carnival. It will be the only thing in the news headlines. The West knows the art of making a huge show of the smallest achievement. Why can't we in Bharat turn up the volume on this genuine development? Is something really wrong with our sense of pride? Bharat is nowadays swept with talk of nationalism and love for our motherland and our history. Where is all that pride when it comes to something really significant like the discovery in Dhaba? As Indians, we need to look into the mirror, look hard, and ask these questions. Questions about our own sense of self respect and pride. So, do share this report with as many people as you can. Let them know the truth about Indian civilization. Don't let the mainstream narrative win. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever we publish a report. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Send updates to 9821045739 for news and analysis you are not told. Visit our website empirediaries.com for more in depth articles, columns, and reports. Stay informed, stay awake, and think critically.